Welcome to the final module in our crypto education series. If you've made it this far, well done. You've learned what crypto is, how it works, how to store it safely, and now it's time to look ahead. What's next for Bitcoin, crypto, and the blockchain technology underneath it all? This is where things get exciting. Let's explore where the crypto world is heading, what to expect in the coming years, and how all of this could impact everyday life, including yours. Let's start with the big one, Bitcoin. Bitcoin started in 2008 as a strange little experiment, internet money that wasn't controlled by any government or bank. A lot of people laughed at it. But 16 years later, it's still here. And it's not just here, it's thriving. Today, Bitcoin is being treated by many as a serious investment asset, just like gold or stocks. It's earned the nickname digital gold because, like gold, there's only a limited amount. In Bitcoin's case, it's capped at 21 million coins. What makes Bitcoin so appealing to many investors is that it can't be inflated. Governments can print more money when they want to, and that often leads to inflation, where your savings buy less over time. But Bitcoin is designed to be scarce. It's built into the code. Big institutions like BlackRock, Fidelity, and even countries like El Salvador have started investing in Bitcoin or offering products based on it. Some retirement funds now include Bitcoin. That's a huge shift from just a few years ago. So what does that mean for you? It means Bitcoin is no longer just a fringe tech project. It's slowly becoming part of the global financial system. It may never replace money, but it could sit beside it as a long-term store of value or a hedge against inflation. But remember, Bitcoin can still be volatile. It's not a guaranteed bet. The key is to understand what it is and why people are starting to treat it seriously, not just chase price swings. Now let's zoom out and talk about the bigger picture, blockchain technology. Think of blockchain as the engine that powers crypto. But just like an engine can be used in cars, boats, or generators, blockchain is being used in more places than just money. Here are some real-world examples of how blockchain is being used today. Healthcare. In some hospitals, blockchain is being used to store medical records more securely. Instead of relying on one company's database, patients could eventually own and control their own health history. Supply chains. Big companies like Walmart and IBM use blockchain to track food and goods, from farm to store shelf. It helps find where problems happen, like a food recall, and fixes them faster. Real estate. In countries like Sweden, property ownership records are being trialed on the blockchain to speed up the buying and selling process, with fewer middlemen and less paperwork. Voting. Some governments are testing blockchain voting systems. It could make elections more transparent and reduce tampering, though it's still early days. Art and music. Artists and musicians can use NFTs, digital tokens, to prove ownership of their work and earn royalties automatically when their work is sold or used. These aren't future concepts. They're already happening. The technology is still maturing, but it's proving useful in ways that go far beyond money. A term you might start hearing more of is Web 3. We're currently living in the Web 2 world. That's the internet we use every day, social media, search engines, cloud apps. It's convenient. But big tech companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook control most of it. Web 3 is the vision for a new kind of internet, one where users own their data, not corporations. Imagine logging into websites with a digital wallet instead of a password. You'd control your identity and your data. And in some cases, you could even earn rewards for sharing or creating content without going through a middleman. It's early days, but Web 3 is already being built. Decentralized social media platforms, gaming economies, and new online communities are starting to pop up, and they're powered by blockchain. Let's talk about regulation. Crypto grew up without much oversight, which led to both innovation and a few high-profile disasters, like failed exchanges or scams. Now governments around the world are stepping in to provide clearer rules. In Australia, for example, the government is working on legislation to regulate digital asset platforms so that if you buy crypto through a local provider, you can feel safer. In the US, Europe, and other regions, there's growing support for protecting consumers while still encouraging innovation. Good regulation is a positive sign. It helps weed out bad actors and gives everyday people more confidence to get involved. But it's also important that regulation doesn't go too far. Crypto was built on the idea of financial freedom and privacy, so the challenge is to balance safety with freedom. Now you may have heard about something called CBDCs, or Central Bank Digital Currencies. These are digital versions of national currencies created and controlled by central banks. Australia is exploring one, so is the US, the UK, and many others. CBDCs are not cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. They're more like a digital form of cash, but centralized. Governments would have full control. Supporters say CBDCs could make payments faster, reduce fraud, and even help distribute government benefits more efficiently. Critics worry they could give governments too much control, for example, being able to track every purchase or even freeze funds. Whether you support CBDCs or not, they're coming. The key takeaway: they're not a replacement for crypto. They'll likely exist side by side, one centralized, the other decentralized. Behind the scenes, the technology is also evolving fast. One major development is something called Layer 2. These are like side roads built next to busy highways. They help reduce congestion. In crypto terms, Layer 2 networks make transactions faster and cheaper. The Lightning Network, for example, allows people to send Bitcoin almost instantly for a fraction of a cent. Ethereum has similar solutions with names like Optimism and Arbitrum. There's also a big focus on green blockchain projects, using less energy and making crypto more environmentally friendly. Ethereum, for example, recently switched to a system called Proof of Stake, cutting its energy use by over 99%. Another growing trend is interoperability, helping different blockchains talk to each other. This would allow people to move assets and data freely across different networks, opening up new possibilities for apps and services. And finally, there's the intersection of AI and blockchain. These technologies are being combined to detect fraud, automate contracts, and even manage decentralized organizations. This might all sound a bit futuristic, and it is, but it's also very real, and it's moving quickly. Now let's be honest, crypto isn't perfect. There are still scams. There are projects that promise the moon and deliver nothing. There's hype, noise, and wild price swings. But that's why education is so important. When you understand how the technology works, you're far better prepared to avoid the noise and spot the real opportunities. Think of crypto and blockchain like the early days of the internet. Back in the 90s, the internet was confusing and full of failed companies. But over time it matured and changed the world. Crypto is on a similar path. It's not just about price charts or trends. It's about new ways of building trust, ownership, and control in our increasingly digital lives. So where is crypto heading? It's hard to predict exact outcomes. But here's what seems clear. Bitcoin is maturing as a long-term store of value. Blockchain is finding use cases in dozens of industries. Web3 is reshaping how we use the internet. CBDCs will likely coexist with decentralized crypto, and regulation will help bring safety and clarity to the space. Whether you choose to invest or not, one thing is certain: understanding crypto puts you ahead of the curve. It's no longer just a tech thing, it's a life skill. Thanks for joining us in this series. We hope it gave you the confidence to explore crypto with clarity and a healthy dose of caution. If you found this helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. And remember, the best investment you can make is in your own knowledge.